Hello, my name is Shalini Prasad. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm in the final year of the psychology program at Ryerson University. Um, my platform is called Art by Shalini, so I custom make art pieces. I use a variety of materials, but mostly acrylics and canvases. But yeah, I custom make canvas pieces, glass paintings, and explosion boxes, and basically anything that you want. I have a can-do attitude. I am 1.5 generation Indo-Guyanese Canadian. So basically, my ancestors were born in India. They were taken from India as indentured laborers to Guyana. And then my parents were born in Guyana. They immigrated here as kids, and my siblings and I were born in Canada. Again, I'm so excited to partner with the South Asian Yard, or to collab, I should say. And yeah, I just really want to vocalize the intricacies of my Indo-Guyanese experience while living in Canada. I'm really, really excited to talk about identity formation. I feel like even what the South Asian Yard is all about is leading up to how do all of these different factors and all of these different aspects of your life affect the person that you are today, and how is it continuing to affect you. So I want to jump on the question of, did you have to make choices related to juggling both your cultures and values? Like, for example, how much of your heritage and cultural beliefs and practices did you choose to retain? That's a very loaded question. I love it, and I'm excited to answer every single aspect of it. I'm definitely at a point in my life where I'm just really excited and active in learning more about and actively engaging in my Indo-Guyanese and Canadian culture. My conception surrounding culture has definitely evolved, and it has shifted throughout the years and sometimes back and forth. I feel like that's a very common story that minorities experience, children of immigrants experience, of just really trying to find your place, and viewing it as like this definitive end point of this like definitive destination of understanding who you are as a person and where you fit in the world. And it's my conception of my identity has evolved from seeing my Indo-Guyanese culture and my Canadian culture as separate from each other. And it's shifted toward seeing my just very specific and personal culture as valid, as my own personal culture having its own set of complexities, that it could be different from somebody who looks and sounds just like me. It took me a while to get to like this point of being very comfortable and embracing the fact that I am on this journey of finding out who I am, and also that there isn't really like a definitive destination. I feel like at the end of the day we all know who we are as people, but it is something, this conception of identity is constantly shifting, and it's constantly growing and evolving, and it's beautiful. And I feel like a lot of POCs and ethnic minorities, they struggle with it, and then they also come to terms with it, and they also have their very, again, own separate, unique mentality surrounding identity and identity formation. Like, for example, I grew up watching Bollywood movies and seeing my Indian culture, my Indian heritage celebrated and conveyed on screen. Like, I practice Hinduism and have firsthand seen my grandparents host various religious and cultural events my entire life. I've also grown up listening to Hindi music that was kind of coming out around the time that I first started to watch Bollywood movies, which was when I was like 3 years old, 2 years old. And over the years, I've really kind of gone back in time, and I wanted to listen to music coming out from Bollywood and coming out from just Hindi cinema, and even just bhajans dating back to like the 40s or the 50s or the 60s. And I've always had a very like keen interest in that side of my the side of me, that side of my heritage and my ancestry. And I've also grown up with listening to many musical genres that have originated in the Caribbean, right? Like calypso and soca and various reggae subgenres, dancehall, chutney. And, both Caribbean and Indian dance forms have been another very keen interest and like a big source of pride as well, throughout my entire life, but especially within the more recent years. Both Caribbean and Indian dance forms, music genres, foods, delicacies, values, customs. Those are just huge aspects that I would use to describe my identity if somebody were to ask me, which is basically what's happening right now. And, another layer to my identity is my Canadian culture as well, right? It's understanding the history of Canada, being a good citizen, celebrating Remembrance Day, acknowledging and making reparations actively for the genocide and just prevalent mistreatment of Indigenous peoples within Canadian society. These all have to do with me, and these are all things that I embrace. These are all things that come to mind. And again, that's just very specific to me. And with multiple POCs and ethnic minorities, there are things and aspects of their identity that are very specific and unique to them.